Hello, so today's video is going to be about piercings and how to decide on them, how to make sure you're making a good decision on a piercing, and just kind of giving you my tips, considering I have piercings and I obviously have experience in getting pierced and making these kind of decisions. So my first tip, if you first come up with an idea for getting a piercing, is do your research. You should do lots of research. Make sure you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. You'll never know for sure because, you never know. There can be an infection, there can be rejection with piercings, especially surface piercings like belly button, for example. Piercings that go through, like ear piercings and nose piercing, those have less of a risk of rejection. So you have to look up stuff like that and know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Make sure that if there is a risk of infection, if there is a risk of rejection, that you're prepared to handle that kind of thing. Because you'll never know for sure. It can happen to anybody. And also, try and figure out if anyone who you know IRL has that piercing that you want so that you can ask them advice about it. Before I got my piercings, and with piercings that I've considered, I've always asked at least one person, one or two people. I recommend more, like 2 or 3 people. What were your experience with it? How have you had any issues with it? Do you regret it? Do you not regret it? Because different people can have different experiences, and it's way better to ask someone who you actually know. You can ask any questions that you want to them and they'll respond. It's the best way to get advice on the piercing. So I'd suggest doing both of those things. Look up stuff about that piercing online and ask people who you know in real life. It's a good thing to do, and you're not annoying the person or anything by asking. People always ask me for advice about piercings, particularly my nose, because it's more noticeable and people can just, by seeing me, understand that I have a nose piercing. And so if they want one, they can just ask me, did it hurt? Have you had any issues with it? Stuff like that. And I tell them, and, hope that they can make a good decision for themselves. So another thing that can be very beneficial is getting a fake piece of jewelry for that piercing. Get a fake, try it on, see if you like it, maybe wear it for a day, see if you like how it looks. This is especially a good thing to do with piercings that are on your face. So like nose, eyebrow, stuff that's gonna pop out. It's gonna be on your face, and stuff that's hard to hide. Because with ears, I feel like, it isn't as important to see what it looks like first, but on your face, it can kind of change your appearance a bit, so I recommend doing that. So there's 2 different things you can do. So I have these little stick-on gems. You can also find ones that are specially made to be fake nose studs and stuff like that, but these are especially good for if you're trying to see how you would look with a nose stud. You can just stick one on. But yeah, these are from Icing, and they're generally just to put on your face, look all cute. They're face and body stick-on gems. And about 2-3 years ago, when I was considering getting a nose piercing seriously, I went on Amazon and I bought these little fake nose studs. So, no, not nose studs, nose hoops. Because I remember there was a point where I really wanted a hoop, but now I have a stud. So there's a silver one, and it came also with a gold one. I've been planning on selling these because now that my nose is pierced, I don't need them anymore, or giving them away to somebody who wants them. Of course, after sanitizing them, because they've been in contact with my nose. So, but yeah, I can just show you how it works. So, I use the gold one since I have a silver nose stud, so I think it'll be fun to use the gold one. So it basically goes into your nose. I'll do the other side since My other side of my nose isn't pierced. And boom. It just goes in like that, and it stays. I think it's very good quality. I can link down below where I got this on Amazon so that if you guys want one too. I think it's way better quality than the fakes that are sold at stores like Claire's and Icing. This one I feel actually will stay in. My eyes watered a bit because for some reason, because I wasn't looking properly when putting it in, I kind of like poked the inside of my nose, and so now my eyes are watering. But yeah, so that's that. I think it's good quality. This is also a little bit versatile. So you can like, I've tried seeing if I could use it as like a fake septum, and it works for that too, kind of. I think it works well enough. Because I remember one day I was curious to see how it would look with a septum. It kind of works, but it can slip out if you put it in like that because it wasn't particularly made for that. This was made to be a nose stub, but you can try if you buy this and then are curious to see how you'd look with other types of piercings, you know. You can try using it for that, unless you want to buy separate fake jewelry for a separate piercing. I know that they have fake ear cuffs, stuff like that you can buy. They're sold at Icing and whatnot, but they really easily fall off. I know because when I was in middle school and I wanted different ear piercings and my parents wouldn't let me get them, so I had to wait till I was 18. I would buy these ear cuffs. I would buy these magnetic earrings. Magnetic earrings hurt, so I don't recommend getting those. They really hurt and put pressure on your ear. So yeah, again, I got these from Icing, and I got the fake nose hoops from Amazon, and they came in this little box. And they weren't too expensive. So, considering the quality especially. So the next step, I would say once you've decided that you're going to get this piercing and you really want it and you are sure you won't regret it, you're prepared for the risks, and you know what to do to take care of it, go and do research on the actual piercing place, read reviews, make sure that it's a good place. Because trust me, I have heard horror stories about places where people who I know have gotten piercings and they do not use the right methods. They got an infection because of that. They took good care of it, but because of the way that the piercing was done was what was causing infections and problems. So do your research, read up on it, make sure that when you go, you're getting pierced with a needle, not a piercing gun. Piercing guns, I know that there was a time, at least when I was a kid and got my earlobes pierced, that basically everyone just took their kids to Claire's and got their ears pierced there. That's not a good way to do it. I didn't know any better, my parents didn't know any better, I don't think anyone knew any better, except professional piercers. But it wasn't until I was older and considering other piercings and doing research that I realized that piercing guns are the worst. Not only can they not be sanitized properly to prevent infection, but they also are basically just shoving the jewelry into your body instead of making a proper hole and then putting the jewelry in. So don't do it. It's not good for your body, it's not good for the piercing, and you will regret it. I very, very luckily did not have any issues with my earlobe piercing, probably because it is in the earlobe, and there's the lowest risk of infection with earlobe piercings, so I think that's why I didn't have any issues going forward with that piercing, and it was well taken care of. Also, the cleaning solution that they give you at Claire's is not good for your piercing. Not good at all. It's trash. Don't use it. But no one knew any better when I was a kid, at least, because everyone just took their kids to Claire's, like, oh, you want your ears pierced? Let's go to Claire's, where else do we go? You need to be doing research about the actual procedure and what should be being done for, you know, a good piercing. And it's different for different piercings, so make sure that you research, you know, for your particular piercing But, you know, you need to also be aware of that when you're at the actual piercing place that you think is good and that you've done research on. You know, just because, you know, it seems good from the research doesn't mean that, you know, for example, your piercer might forget to wear gloves, for example. You need to be wary of that. You need to look out for those kind of things to make sure that your piercing is done right. You know, every time I've been to my piercer several times, and I still look to make sure, you know, he puts his gloves on, he's holding a needle instead of a gun, that the area is clean, that everything's good. So, you know, pay attention to that. That's one of the reasons that I feel that, you know, the best time to get any piercing other than maybe the earlobes is when you're 18 and over. Because I feel like when you're a kid, you know, you're just so excited about getting the piercing, and, you know, it's cool that your parents agree to it, and you're so excited that you don't even really look at those kinds of things, and your parents might not, you know, be looking for those kinds of things. They might not even know, probably, you know, so, you know, it's best to, you know, yourself be very informed and very aware. I feel like if you're under 18, you know, no matter what age you are getting piercings, you know, if you're 16 and you want to get your nose pierced, for example, you know, I can't stop you if your parents agree. You know, just make sure that you're, you know, well informed, make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into, make sure that, you know, you're looking out and making sure that the piercing's being done correctly by the piercer. Because trust me, infections aren't just, oh, it's a little bit red, or, oh, there's some extra gunk leaking out. You know, there are cases of infections that are more rare, but can really, really suck. You know, I've read cases where people have had to go to the hospital, they were at risk for severe damage of their tissues in that area, and, you know, you want to be well informed. Those cases are rare. I'm not saying that they happen super often, but you want to be informed, and you want to make sure that the piercing is done correctly and you're taking care of it correctly. You know, it's not a game. It's like something that you actually have to take care of, otherwise, you know, you can land yourself into trouble later on. So make sure that you're informed and responsible about it, and hopefully, you know, your piercings will be healthy and you'll be happy and everything will be all swell. I'm like, it's so bright out. Oh my gosh. So yeah, this isn't me trying to scare people out of getting piercings. This is just me trying to make people aware, so that things don't suck later on. You know, I obviously have lots of piercings, and I still know that any one of these can get infected at any point, but I'm prepared to, like, deal with it. So that is about it. So I'll see you guys next time. Subscribe if you haven't already, and like the video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, well, then that sucks. Dislike, I guess. And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye!